Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year again where the Premier League is finally back and the dreaded wait is over. And I have to be honest, Arsenal are winning this shit again. They're winning again. Like, you look at the defense, the star power they have. Like, last season, their defense, you can't say it was anything short of a clinic. That's the only word you can use to describe it. Gabriel, Saliba, Hincapié or Calafiori, and on the other side, Timber. It's just way too solid. And I feel like they're going to go back to back. But that's actually not the only reason I think they're going to go back to back. I think it's less to do with them and more to do with everyone else. Because Arsenal are the only sort of Premier League team who have settled into their identity. Obviously, they've been under Arteta for like 6 to 7 years now. They know what they're doing. They know what they want to do. They know how they want to play football. And every other contender or potential contender seems to be entering a new era. Like, you look at the Enzo Maresca era at City, there's uncertainty, there's new players, new manager, you don't know what's going to go on. The Community Shield wasn't a good showing. Then you look at Chelsea, the Xabi Alonso era. I mean, they're always swapping, changing, shifting, and changing. So you don't know what you're going to get from them. They could come 10th. They could come 4th. Nobody knows. They could challenge for the title. Who knows? Then you got Liverpool. Liverpool are also undergoing a new era. They went from Slot. He obviously didn't work. I feel like in that sense, Arsenal automatically have the upper hand. And we haven't even gotten into the quality of the players yet. Because Arsenal have the best team on paper in the league. Like, I feel like it was debatable last season when City had Rodri and Bernardo Silva. But I have to be honest, like, now, like, you look at City squad, you're like, fuck. Like, it's not looking good, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, it's one of them teams that you're gonna look on FIFA and you're just gonna be like, what the hell happened to this team? Like, and that's my team. So it's a bit early to do predictions. That's why I'm not doing it in this video because, bro, the transfer window hasn't ended. We don't know who's gonna bring in who. Obviously, teams can't bolster their squad that much in 14 days. But like, in terms of key signings, they normally happen towards the latter stages of the transfer window. Those closing stages where everything's heating up, everyone's trying to get their players in. That's where you see the season-defining signings. So right now, it's just too early to make those predictions. But based on the squad we have now, it's looking like times 2 for Arteta's men. Liverpool, they're going for a rebuild, not only in terms of their manager, but in terms of the players as well. They're going to a new era, the Ekitike, Isak era. We need to see how that's going to pan out. Salah's obviously done. Van Dijk is like 35. He's not as good as he once was, let's be honest. Alisson is 30-something. He's not as good as he once was, like, let's be honest. They're going to have to replace these players with new, young, exciting players who can lead the line for many years to come. Same for Manchester City. I'm not going to lie, the players aren't that good at the minute. Like, the squad isn't that good. I've seen way better Man City squads, especially as a fan myself. Obviously, we have Haaland. Foden's not been at his best. I don't know what's going on with him. Semenyo, he's yet to kind of prove himself at a top club at the top level, playing twice a week, Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup, and FA Cup potentially, 4 competitions. He needs to prove himself at that level. Then you have Doku. He's really coming into his own. Yes, he's getting up there, but he's not quite world class yet. Elliot Anderson has a lot to prove. I feel like a lot of the teams that's not Arsenal are bubbling, but Arsenal have reached their crescendo of some sorts. Like, Arsenal have not their peak, definitely not their peak, but their crescendo. Like, this is as good as their current squad can be. Like, that's not to say they won't add players. That's not to say that, that's not to say that they can't get better, but I just feel like Arsenal are a team where they're a cut above the rest in terms of quality today. Tottenham Hotspur, I haven't really mentioned them, but we know what they're like. Even though they signed Tonali, they signed Mateus Fernandes, they signed Van Hecke, they've really bolstered their squad. It's just Spurs, bro. Like, I don't actually know what else to tell you. Like, it's literally just Spurs. Like, I can't fathom them being in a proper title race, not just yet, especially with the new manager, De Zerbi. He's good. He's a very good manager at a football level, but, like, it's one of those things where he's not going to come in first season and cause any damage. Let's be honest. He's going to need to settle. He's going to need the power. And speaking of power, I do appreciate the power that Xabi Alonso is getting at Chelsea, because it's something they've really struggled with in terms of the actual structure of the club. Because a new manager, just a new manager, wasn't going to transform Chelsea's season. They needed to change the structure top to bottom. The Clear Lake era has obviously been a disaster. The amount of power they have over the club has obviously not been a good idea. They just signed 14-year-olds from favelas, and that clearly hasn't worked. But based off the news reports and what's going on, it seems like they've actually given Xabi Alonso more power, which is great, because it's different to what they have been doing, which clearly has not been working. So it's one of those things where they could do some damage. Like, Chelsea could potentially do... I'm not saying they'll challenge for the title necessarily, but they could potentially do some damage. As I said, Liverpool, they're rebuilding. Who am I forgetting? In terms of Big Six clubs, Manchester United, Carrick has tried. He really has tried, but I just don't think he's the manager to take Manchester United to the next level. And I know this is a really hot take. Like, people, go peep them comments. Everyone's gonna be flaming me for this take, but I don't care. I know I say what I see, and Carrick's football is not the most sustainable. I feel like it's really tenacious. It it kind of banks on the opposition being sort of afraid of Manchester United, just the Manchester United name. And I don't know, I just feel like he's not the manager to take Man United to the next level. He's done very good as an interim manager, very well. I'm not taking it away from him. He's done fantastic as an interim manager. But in terms of actually getting his hands on silverware, like the Champions League, the Premier League, which is where Manchester United should aspire to be, I don't think he's the man. Yes, he can come second. Yes, he can come third and get you Champions League football and then win at the FA Cup every couple of years. Yeah, I'm not denying that. Cool. But as I said, the two big boys, the Premier League, Champions League, I can almost bet, if I was a betting man, I'd put my life savings. Carrick is never going to see that at Manchester United. But yeah, we can only wait and see. I'm very excited for this Premier League season. I don't have great hopes for my team, Manchester City, but we'll have to wait and see.